you believe in high school and and a lot of it's kids, but the teachers and counselors and principals don't help things. They scare you into conforming and doing good in school by saying, if you're a loser now, you're going to be a loser forever. So that with Eric and Dylan, right? People called them fag. They're like, you know what? If I'm a fag now, I'm a fag forever. And you wish someone just could have grabbed him and gone, dude, high school's not the end of a year and a half or a year, was it? I don't even know.
Yeah.
A year?
No,
you just
a year.
Move out.
No, they were 2 weeks. They were weeks away from graduation.
Yeah, you're done. You know, it's amazing how fast you lose touch with all those people. They just beat it in your head as early as 6th grade.
Right.
Don't fuck up, because if you do, you're going to die poor and lonely. You don't want to do that. You're like, well, fuck, whatever I am now, I'm that forever. And of course, it's completely opposite. All the dorks in high school go on to do great things, and all the really cool guys are all like living back in Littleton as insurance agents. It's completely, it's almost person to person. It's completely that way. And you just, if someone could have told them that, maybe they wouldn't have done it. But yeah.
I guess we'll never know why they did it, but one thing adults should never forget: it still sucks being a teenager, and it really sucks going to school.
What's your view on high school?
I love it. I learn. I get picked on by bastards who hate me, and the principal's a dick.
All right. What causes school violence?
Him.
Yes, and after Columbine, it really sucked being a student in America.
Since last spring's shooting at Columbine High, schools nationwide have extended zero-tolerance policies, suspending and expelling students for all kinds of behavior considered unruly or warning signs of violence to come. This second grader in Illinois was suspended for 10 days for bringing a nail clipper to class. That's a weapon, his school said.
An elementary school suspended a first grader for pointing a chicken strip at a teacher in the cafeteria. The 8-year-old was fooling around with a friend at lunch last week when he pointed a breaded chicken finger at a teacher and then said, "Pow, pow."
Pointed a folded piece of paper like this one, shaped like a gun, and told his classmates he was going to kill them during a game of cops and robbers.
This isn't a warning sign. Then what is it?
This Virginia high school student spent a month out of classes, originally sent home for dyeing his hair blue.
A high school honor student from Michigan could be expelled later today in a school board hearing. 17-year-old Jeremy Hicks wore a Scottish bagpiper's outfit to his junior prom that included a plaid kilt, a feathered hat, and a traditional knife known as a skein dhu.
This T-shirt landed a high school student in court. She wanted to start an anarchy club.
The little time bombs that are out there ticking, waiting to go off, and there are many of them in every community.
Students in at least 7 different states have been suspended or arrested for talking about or planning plots of their own.
It's almost like guerrilla warfare. You don't know from which direction the enemy will be coming.
Having a well-conceived and strictly enforced dress code can dramatically improve the safety of a school and can ensure a positive learning environment for everyone. As this student's appearance demonstrates, having a lax policy about dress makes it easy for a student to conceal a weapon and makes it difficult to identify intruders on campus. A dress code can reduce weapons violations, relieve tensions between gangs, reduce disciplinary infractions, and generally improve the atmosphere of the school. Our policy requires that students tuck in their shirts, making the belt line visible at all times. Our students may not wear baggy pants or colors and insignias that are commonly associated with gang activity. This policy was a collaborative effort.
Yes, our children were indeed something to fear. They had turned into little monsters. But who was to blame? All the experts had an answer.
Angry, heavy metal subculture.
Where were the parents?
Violent movies.
South Park.
Video games.
Television.
Entertainment.
Satan.
Cartoons.
Doom.
Society. Toy guns. Drugs.
Shock rocker. Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson has canceled the last 5 dates of his U.S. tour out of respect for those lost in Littleton. But the singer says artists like himself are not the ones to blame.
This is perhaps the sickest group ever promoted by a mainstream record company.
After Columbine, it seemed that the entire focus on why the shootings occurred was because the killers listened to Marilyn Manson. 2 years after Columbine, Manson finally returned to Denver.
The Ozfest at Mile High Stadium brings shock rocker Marilyn Manson to Denver tomorrow.
There were protests from the religious right. But I thought I'd go and talk with him myself.
When I was a kid growing up, music was the escape. That's the only thing that had no judgments. You know, you can put on a record and it's not going to yell at you for dressing the way you do. It's going to make you feel better about it.
Mm-hmm. Some will be so brash to ask if we believe that all who hear Manson tomorrow night will go out and commit violent acts. The answer is no. But does everybody who watches a Lexus ad go and buy a Lexus? No, but a few do.
I definitely can see why they would pick me, because I think it's easy to throw my face on a TV, because I'm, in the end, sort of a poster boy for fear. Because I represent what everyone's afraid of, because I do and say what I want.
If Marilyn Manson can walk into our town and promote hate, violence, suicide, death, drug use, and Columbine-like behavior, I can say, not without a fight you can't.
The two byproducts of that whole tragedy were violence and entertainment and gun control. And how perfect that was the two things that we were going to talk about with the upcoming election. And also then we forgot about Monica Lewinsky, and we forgot about the president was shooting bombs overseas, yet I'm a bad guy because I've sang some rock and roll songs. And who's a bigger influence, the president or Marilyn Manson?
Do you know,
I'd like to think me, but I'm going to go with the president.
Do you know that the day that Columbine happened, the United States dropped more bombs on Kosovo than any other time during that war?
I do know that, and I think that that's really ironic, you know, that nobody said, well, maybe the president had an influence on this violent behavior. No, because that's not the way the media wants to take it and spin and turn it into fear, because then you're watching television, you're watching the news, you're being pumped full of fear. There's floods, there's AIDS, there's murder, cut to commercial. Buy the Acura, buy the Colgate. If you have bad breath, they're not going to talk to you. If you got pimples, the girl's not going to fuck you. And it's just this, it's a campaign of fear and consumption. And that's what I think that it's all based on, is the whole idea that keep everyone afraid and they'll consume. Mm-hmm. And that's really as simple as it can be boiled down to.
Right. If you were to talk directly to the kids at Columbine or the people in that community, what would you say to them if they were here right now?
I wouldn't say a single word to them. I would listen to what they have to say, and that's what no one did.
I'm Nicole Schleif, and I'm Amanda Lamonte.
And you went to Columbine?
Yes.
And you were with Eric and Dylan in their class?
Yeah, we were in their bowling class.
You were in their bowling class?
Yeah.
What's bowling class?
It's just an elective you can take for a gym credit.
Where's the educational value of this?
I guess there isn't really any.
There's not. Is there any?
Yeah, I learned how to bowl a lot better. Yeah. That's for sure.
What were Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold like?
Weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
not very social.
I didn't really know who they were.
Yeah. Not very social. Just kind of kept to themselves.
How good of bowlers were Eric and Dylan?
When we played them, all I remember is they were just like crazy. They would just like chuck it
down there,
throw the ball down there. Didn't really care too much about how they bowled.
They didn't really care about their scores.
What were the suspects doing the morning of attack? I told you that I'd heard that they were bowling. That's the only thing that I'm aware of.
So did Dylan and Eric show up that morning and bowl 2 games before moving on to shoot up the school? And did they just chuck the balls down the lane? Did this mean something?
Well, I guess they went to their favorite class.
Why wasn't anyone blaming bowling for warping the minds of Eric and Dylan to commit their evil deeds? Was it not just as plausible as blaming Marilyn Manson? After all, it was apparently the last thing they did before the massacre. But wait a minute. There's lots of bowling going on in other countries. And don't they listen to Marilyn Manson in Germany, the home of sinister goth music?
Zum Gothic Festival.
Don't they watch the same violent movies in France?
No.
Most of the violent video games are from Japan. Many people in America believe that it's the breakup of the family unit that's